Good morning, old Cappy here, and I guess this is higher quality video. I've had a phone for this long, the video is not much quality. Anyway, that aside, this is an announcement that today is the last day to sign up for Achieving Minimalism, the key to success and happiness in life. It is a seminar, class, course, whatever I do through teachable.com, link down below. And the big controversy is people who don't want to make money and hate it if other people do, claim that if you charge a fair amount of money, ironically, $450 on a seminar on how to achieve minimalism. On the outside of that, like, spend less than you make, there, I saved you 40, 50 bucks. And it dawned on me, maybe it's worth having a conversation as to why I got 3 registrants past 2 days, all right? Why it's easier said than done to spend less than you make. Because if you look at it empirically, the vast majority, what was it? I think it was Google. They came out with a poll where less than half of the American population had $500 saved up. The baby boomers are a testament as to just how few people spend less than they make because they got to reverse mortgage their homes. They're horrifically, pathetically dependent on perpetually increasing asset prices like their house and stocks, so you're supposed to do that for retirement. And most people spend more than they make. And so if it was just as simple as that, well, why don't more people do it? And so where the real value of this class comes in is that it addresses the underlying psychological issues, and I would say programming, genetic programming, that every human has to spend more than they make. And the reason why, and I'm not giving away the class here or anything, the solution is the key thing. And the solution, by the way, is, yes, spend less than you make, but it's how do you get your brain to do that? Take a look at a couple other things that, how do you quit smoking? Let's talk about addiction. How do you quit drugs? How do you quit smoking? How do you quit drinking? That right there, people go to multi-thousand, tens of $1,000 retreats, therapist visits and all that, and they still don't even quit smoking or drinking. What else? There's addiction. Women with spending, we are talking about spending in general, but I went to this place called At Home. Cappy built a new house, and for the first time in my life, I got to buy furniture. I'm like, oh, geez, I got my old college. There's my old college couch, 1995. I go, oh, we got more house than we do furniture now. And if you've ever gone to At Home, oh my gosh, there is so much crap you can buy. And yes, I'm not... This is not sexist. This is true. It was all middle-aged older women. And you could buy trinkets and knickknacks and crap and doilies. You could see where you go from zero to hoarder. Well, they're literally, no offense to At Home, but 99% of the stuff you don't need. Okay, I need a chair. I need some stools. I need a lawn chair. But that covers less than 1% of the square area of all the stuff that you could buy at Home. I can't even go look at Home. Go there, take a look. You'd be like, oh my God, I never knew half this crap existed. Why, generally speaking, do women spend their money on crap and get doilies and little? I don't know. Do your grandma collect those? My grandmas are too old. One's dead, unfortunately. But modern day grandmas, they used to buy those ceramic little things. What's the point and purpose of that? There's none there. And what you're going to find is that this is not just as simple as quit drinking, quit smoking, quit spending and buying, hoarding, collecting, I guess would be the main thing. And it's not just as simple as spend less than you make. What's the solution to quitting drugs? Stop doing drugs. What's the solution to quit smoking cigarettes? Stop smoking cigarettes. How do you get your brain to override the conditioning it's got? And that's where the seminar comes in. I would even argue that if you can unlock one, let's say you figure out how to quit smoking or lose weight. There's another one, lose weight. One of these things where you have to overcome an addiction to either a behavior or a habit. If you can unlock that, you probably can figure it out for other things. Let's say you smoke, you drink, and you're overweight. If you can figure out how to quit smoking, then those lessons would parallel, if not be identical to the exact same mental exercises or philosophy or whatever, to give up the booze and the drugs. And so I'm going to argue then, also it's the same thing with spending. However, whereas tobacco, booze, those things have a biochemical or a neurochemical, that you're introducing chemicals to your body, you become biochemically dependent upon that. Spending, there's no drugs, there's no external substance you're introducing to your body. Now, neurologists, neuroscientists will also rightly point out that, well, when you buy, one could say addiction to porn is another one. You get this immediate dopamine hit. It all goes to dopamine or serotonin. So you get that hit. So there is always, it causes a chemical reaction within your brain. But I would argue that spending is an even more powerful addiction because it harkens back to the olden days where it was consumption that kept you alive. And I've pointed this out before if you've watched any of my videos or read even maybe a couple of my books. But dogs have the same thing, okay? Dogs have been with us for tens of thousands of years. And you could, most pampered dog in the world, the Winnetka dog, the Wayzata dog, the Hampton dog. You all know this dog. It got the dog's life. Everything bought and paid for. The dog is not going to starve. You put a bowl of food in it, it doesn't know where its next meal is coming. Well, that's however many millions of years of dog, canine evolution, telling you got to eat now. What will they do? They'll eat till they throw up. Because back in the olden days, for the vast majority of its genetic historical record, it didn't know where its next meal was coming from. Humans are the same thing. Literally, not even 100 years ago, 90 years ago, the Great Depression, people had to tighten their belts. We had not solved food, the issue of hunger, until maybe, I even remember the Volcker recession where we didn't have all the food in the world. It was bad. Well, no, we can't afford that. You're going to have to eat at home. You would still tighten your belts. I would not really until the past 30 years have we solved hunger. And now we've gone way too much because now we got obesity. That's killing off more people than starvation, at least in the first world. And why? Because, well, it's the same thing with the dog. We don't know genetically where our food's going to come from. In the olden days, we had to consume as much as we possibly could. Otherwise, we didn't know if we'd have enough of the reserves, the caloric reserves, to survive a time period without food. We have to get our fat stores stored up. We have to, and also I've talked about many times before, like the origins, thank you. The origins of laziness harkens back there because laziness was the ideal survival strategy where you did not expend calories of energy unless you absolutely had to. Because if you were fast and loose with your calories of energy, if you were not conserving them, you'd starve, you'd die. So that's why there's such a compunction to be lazy as opposed to being hardworking in every human, but that's another thing for another story. Point is, the idea of consumption, it's not the idea of consumption. Consumption has been genetically hardwired into every human being because that's how we survived until very recently into the past. And what this seminar course class does is it addresses these biophysiological hardwired programs that every human has, and then tries to through similar ways of treating addiction or habits or whatever else have you, treating the cycle, giving you another psychological philosophy to follow. Identifying is like, you don't need this. Saying, okay, here's what you're going to replace it with. Because you can quit cold turkey, but usually you're engaging in vice for some reason because you're trying to have some kind of, I wouldn't say agency, worth, or purpose, but I believe in vice. You got to have a vice because life is very boring without it. Hopefully they're good vices like working out or having sex or something like that. But here, consumption, whether it's food, but as I'm talking about in this finance class, the spending of money that you don't need to spend, it points out here's a substitute. You don't need to do this. You're going to be fine. Buying that extra video game or getting the latest iPhone is not going to make you happy. And you can say that, and people say, yeah, it's not going to make me happy. They'll still go buy it. Why? Because they're programmed to. And this is the best, I would say, technique, product, service, idea, philosophy on the market that addresses that addiction to spending. Unless there's somebody else out there, please challenge me. I'm a competitive economist. I'm a competitive philosopher. Please, if there's a better product, I'll let you know. In the meantime, yeah, it's absolutely worth. Now it's $450, but with discount code CAPPY, CAPPY, you get $50, not 50%, $50 off. Before, after sales tax and all that, this is about a $450 course. It's about 10, 11 hours long. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe it's only 6. I have to look at it again. It is dense, though. It is compact. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, because if you can spend $450 and it works, then it's totally worth not being in debt anymore. Do you want to be a boomer? Do you want to be sitting there like, I need my children to support me. When can I move back in? I need to reverse mortgage the house. Do you want to be those people? Do you want to be like, look, it's one thing if you're poor and you're 22 because, well, you're young, you're poor and you're 22, getting out of college, things like that. Do you want to be 72 and not have the money? Is that worth $450 for you? I mean, what if you got a wife or a husband that just buys toys all the time? Whatever, they're not happy, they ain't got anything better in life. Don't you think it's worth $450 so you don't file for bankruptcy or get divorced? Oh, you think $450 is expensive? You know what a divorce costs you? Do you know what divorce lawyers cost? And then everyone else, $450. Like, aren't you the same kids that spent $350 per credit and $300 per textbook on a worthless sociology degree or the liberal arts? And then you guys, let's pick on the guys because we picked on the girls before. Aren't you the ones that go and lease Beamers you can't afford at $800 a month so you can impress the girls? Don't be telling me that this is a waste of money. Please don't be telling me when you guys, the average American just pisses away a crap ton more of money on truly worthless, if not damaging things. All right. So you know what? Why don't you try this? Why don't you not drink for a month? Why don't you quit smoking for a month? Take the proceeds and invest in this and see where it gets you. And then hopefully we can make you unaddicted to spending. And the link is down below. It's the last day. I close it at midnight tonight. Are you going to open it up again? Yes, in about a month or two, whenever I feel like it. It's when I have the time to open it up, advertise it, marketing it, which is kind of a pain. But sign up for it now. And then, yeah, because I gotta stock the house. Furnish, I guess, is the correct verb. Got to furnish the house. It may be August or maybe even fall by the time I offer this again. So if you want to get it now, time is running out. And I'll put a link to my consultation company below because I can't mention it here because I want this video to get out there. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.